going on, Predators? It is a very cold day here in Texas. We were just going to talk a little bit more about the Apex Predator outdoors gear that we have. So the first one that I've got a lot of questions about, and so I've been working with a guy named Ben on Instagram that's been helping me kind of help get the idea out and develop these and a little bit more. And basically this is the Trifecta. Looks like I'm flicking you off. So this right here is the Trifecta anchor ring here that we're going to be using today, and I'm just going to show you basically how it works. So normally without this, you know, I come to a full draw. I got my first anchor, which is my hand on the bow here. Put the bow forward, draw straight back, and now what I do is I use the backhand. If you want to come a little closer here, Leon, I use my backhand here to put my knuckle right there on that bone of my jaw, but sometimes it's not super consistent, and so I kind of have to rotate it in here, and I'm twisting this a lot, and I'm trying to find it, and I think I found it right there. It's pretty good, right? So then I execute the shot. Okay, that's only tune my bow, rest a little bit. By the way, look at that nice Cerakote on there. I did that myself. That nice green, gotta love that. So anyways, it works okay, right? You know, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm 100% consistent from shot to shot. So that's where this comes in right here. This is the Trifecta anchor ring, and whenever you buy a set of them here, you get a extra large, medium, and small. So whether you're using this on your pinky finger or you've got very large, chunky fingers like me, then it makes it a lot easier to have a different size in there. So some people anchor with their pinky, so they'll come back here and they'll draw and they'll put their pinky up on their temple or on their ear, depending on where it lands. They'll put their knuckles on their jaw, which again, right now, especially with this jacket on, I can't really find that anchor as well. So anyways, what this does basically is this gives me a very fine point of contact, which I've got some rounded, a little bit softer contact ones coming out soon, but basically gives me a point of contact on my jaw there, so I know exactly where it's going to be. So basically I've got the Wise Choice by Carter here. This is my thumb release that I use. And you can see basically what it does, it just gives me a little point of contact there that I can put that in my jaw, so I know that every time I draw back it's very consistent. I can also rotate that so it's not quite as aggressive, so you see that point doesn't stick out quite as much as that one does right there. Okay, so I got a few options with it. So again, I'm going to get through the same process. Grab my bow, try not to shiver too much here. Okay, so I got the anchor ring on there, and here's what we're going to do is I'm just going to do the same process. So bow arm extended, draw back, and now I put that anchor ring right there. Even with this jacket in my way a little bit, I can feel very good where that anchor is, and again, execute the shot. Okay, so basically that's what the Trifecta anchor ring is here for, is to just make sure that you've got a very consistent anchor at that rear anchor point, right? So let's say you use a thumb or a trigger release. I can also put this on my thumb, draw back, and whenever I'm back here, I can put that right there on the anchor sideways. So it works this way, it works that way, it works both ways. And again, if I have, like, let's say I use a pinky anchor, I can put this right there. And again, when I draw back, I can make sure it's on the exact same point every time. So whenever I have if you look at my knuckle here, again, it's like very rounded and kind of flat there. So it's not going to be as consistent of a point, and it puts pressure over a wider area there, right? So our nerves in our face are pretty sensitive, but they're not so sensitive, so I can feel the pressure from that a lot more. But whenever I put this on there, I can feel that sharpness of it a lot more consistently, and this doesn't hurt. I can really jab this thing in there because again, it's not super sensitive, these nerves back here. So again, there's going to be this is the main Trifecta anchor ring back here. There's going to be another one coming out where I've got a little bit of a rounded tip on it, and that's going to make it to where if you you know, have a sensitive facial skin or something like that, it's not going to be too much pressure. But anyways, guys, this is Travis here. Thank you for watching. This is the Trifecta anchor ring. We'll have it in multiple different colors. If you have any color suggestions, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to check these out and maybe purchase one, go to apod.company.site. You can also type in the www, so www.apod.company.site. So basically we're going to be talking about the Apex Predator Outdoors nose buttons. So I talked a little bit about this in my video. I'll put a link up above out there where we were talking about anchoring, the anchoring process. And so there's several different anchors that you want to have whenever you're drawing your bow. The first one is going to be your hand on your grip, right? So I put my hand on my grip, I get that set, then I draw my bow back. We talked about the Trifecta anchor ring, which we use to anchor with our release, whether you've got a thumb release or you've got a back tension release, which actually works off of the back pressure that you pull on it, or you've got a trigger release, doesn't matter, you can use this with that. But the one on the string here, I think, is one of the most consistent anchors, one of the most importantly consistent anchors that you can have, because if you have your nose in a different position on the bow here every time, then you will shoot differently. So if my nose touches here when I draw back one time, then my bow is going to anchor one direction, but if I go higher than that, it's going to point my bow up. So where I touch my nose to the string is very important. I've seen some guys tell me in the comments, like, well, you don't need these little nose buttons, you can just use a piece of string on there. And that's fine, but one of the things I always mention, and I mentioned this in the Trifecta video, is that the skin on our face is not super sensitive. It is in some areas, you know, like right here around the T-zones, you can have a little bit more sensations there. But like on the side of my jaw and the tip of my nose, especially when it's cold out like this, I don't have a lot of sensation on the tip of my nose, right? And so that's why I use something like this anchor button here, because that is going to give me a very pointed sensation on the tip of my nose. It's not going to be too aggressive. These are made out of a flexible rubber so that they don't leave too much of a mark on your nose. So I started using nose buttons with the Bowmar Archery nose button, and they work great. Don't get me wrong, because they actually put a very sharp point on your nose so you can feel it. The problem I have with the Bowmar Archery nose button, though, is this is way too aggressive. So instead of having it made out of that hard molded plastic, what I ended up doing is making these out of a flexible kind of more rubber material. And whatever you purchase them, I give you a whole set of them. So instead of getting just a large one and a small one that are both sharp and pointy, I give you whatever they are in this pocket. Nope, yeah, there we are. So whenever I give you the set, I give you a bunch. So basically this is what you get. You get a full-size one like I have here on my bow. This is in the sour apple green. This is the hunter orange here, or the so then I've got a full-size one with 2 posts. I got a full-size one that's a softer rounded one that's 2 posts, and then I've got a single post one that's a little bit smaller. It's gonna be a little bit lighter, and that one has a single post that's the same shape as that rounded one. And then I've got a small one. Both of these more sharp pointed ones have the APOD logo on it. And so basically, again, what that's going to do is going to make sure that from shot to shot that you are consistent and you are hitting the same spot on the target, and you will hit the same spot on the target because you are putting your nose, and hopefully if you're using the Trifecta, you are putting your anchor in the rear in the same spot every time, and that's what's important. Archery is all about consistency, and so you have no consistency, you're not going to see consistent shots. So thanks for watching, guys, and as always, keep defying the odds.